Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am very pleased to welcome early in the day in California and in the morning in New England, United States of America, Professor W SCHEKMAN and Professor Richard Roberts, Nobel laureates in medicine, and their colleagues, Associate Professor Polina Lishko and Ms. Stephanie Cannon. I draw your attention that both Professor SCHEKMAN and Roberts signed the open letter condemning the unprovoked military aggression, nothing else but a war, launched by the armed forces of the Russian Federation. 190 Nobel laureates call upon the Russian government to stop the invasion of Ukraine and withdraw its military forces from Ukraine. It is a strong planetary voice. Dear members of the Academy of Sciences of Moldova, dear guests, I am honored to give the floor to Professor Richard Roberts. He connected today, was the first Nobel laureate in medicine in 1993. He played an important role in the organization of the open letter, and we are very grateful for this. Dear Professor Richard Roberts, you have the floor, please.
Well, thank you very much. I trust everyone can hear me okay. I'm rather pleased to be able to address you today, although I find the circumstances extremely depressing. I just wanted to give you a quick background on the letter that was written. I was contacted by Roald Hoffmann, who is a chemistry professor well known for the Woodward-Hoffmann rules. He contacted me at the end of March and asked if I would help organize a campaign by the Nobel laureates. I'm one of the few people who has contact information for almost all of the Nobel laureates. So he drafted the letter, sent it out to a number of people, including myself, for criticism and suggestions and so on. And then 2 days later, the final version of the letter was produced. I sent it around to the Nobel laureates, and we had 149 signed up within 2 days of sending out the letter. We're now up to 190, and I'm still hoping that there will be more who will join us. This is really such a terrible action that has been taken by President Putin, and I just do not see how anyone in this world could justify it. And it is unfortunate that the Russian people are not being told the truth on their own local television stations. So with that, I will hand it over to Randy.
Thank you so much. Just to draw your attention that Professor Anatoly Zagorodny, the president of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, is also online. We will give the floor later, a little later. Dear Professor SCHEKMAN, Professor SCHEKMAN, Nobel laureates in medicine and honorary member of the Academy of Sciences of Moldova. Randy, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Ian. Well, under the circumstances, of course, this is a very serious situation that I wish to acknowledge and do so by extending my warm feelings and deep sympathies to the valiant citizens of Ukraine and to your colleagues and friends in Moldova who look with great apprehension at what has happened with this unprovoked aggression, war aggression by Putin and his military. The assault by President Putin and his army has been met by universal condemnation and enduring support from around the world in a way that no one really could have anticipated. We here at Berkeley are trying to do our best to help in our own small way. And I wish to acknowledge an effort led by my Ukrainian colleague, Professor Polina Lishko, and her husband, who are mounting an effort to secure funding and accommodations for Ukrainian scholars who may have had their funding disrupted or who may be in a position to escape from the war-torn country to come to California to continue their research and studies. This is only the small thing that we can do locally to try to delay the pain that is caused by this outrageous act of war and aggression. Let me conclude by urging those of you who have contact with colleagues in Russia, scientific colleagues, academic colleagues, to extend your knowledge and information about what is happening on the ground in Ukraine to people who apparently are completely blocked from any external sources of information. Seems to me that what the least we can do is to try to make sure that those who are close to us in Russia are completely aware of this vicious and unprovoked attack by Putin. He must be defeated, and he will be defeated by the will and good offices of all of us and of the entire world community. Thank you, and my prayers go out to you.
Thank you, dear professors. Thank you for assistance and for your efforts. I repeat, it's a strong planetary voice. Let me give the floor to President Anatoly Zagorodny. And I see Polina Lishko is online. After academician Zagorodny, if you would like to say a few words. Dear President, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, President Giuliano, dear Professor Roberts, dear Professor SCHEKMAN. Thank you very much for your support and solidarity with the Ukrainian scientists. We already received many letters of support and declaration, from many research organizations from various countries. But your letter of support is extremely important for us. So thank you very much indeed for everything you did to initiate such letter and for the great job you did for organization of such support. Thank you very much. We are deeply touched by your attention to the Ukrainian science, to our situation in science. I already told at the beginning of the conference that Ukrainian science and the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine in particular are in very serious situation. Our institute, many of our institute are under attacks, and it's nevertheless the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine and the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine alive, and we believe that we will win. Thank you very much for your kind support, and very much thank you very much for your solidarity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Academician Zagorodny. Dear professors, the fact that we succeeded to arrange this meeting early in the day in California, morning in New England, and afternoon in Ukraine and Moldova to meet together, it means that our planet is very small, and let's do our best to keep our planet safe. We should do our best to keep peace on our small but beautiful planet. Polina, are you online? Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, all my colleagues, all people of Ukraine, and the entire civilization for uniting against this absolutely unprecedented aggression. we are facing a big challenge right now, the entire world. It's almost like history repeats itself. Almost like less than 100 years again, we are facing the same situation. And as united we will be able to save this world and help so many needs. And from our Berkeley colleagues, and all over actually across the world, we are trying to do our small part and try to organize a network of the support for Ukrainian scientists, for our colleagues, to provide a temporary place of accommodation in the coming days, weeks, and months for our colleagues to continue their research whenever they're able to. And I would just like to highlight there is already websites like a mega website, Science for Ukraine, and similar, and more will appear, where people can find help and required need for us to continue our collaboration and establish and help Ukraine to rebuild itself and make its science even stronger. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I was told by colleagues that, about two researchers from Kiev, they have an international project, a grant. In the morning, they go to the institute, do research. In the afternoon, they go home to change the address, and after that, at about 5-6 p.m. They go to underground, and in the underground they analyze the results that they have obtained in the morning. That's really, I would like to say, people that are doing research and they would like to do research, and their life is research, and we should develop scientific collaboration. We should assist our colleagues in Ukraine, and for sure we will keep in touch. Let's keep this networking, and together we will win, as President Zagorodny underlined. We will win. So, President Zagorodny, would you like to say a few words in conclusion? What? That's all.
Just to thank you, President Tigirianu, for the organization of this conference. To thank once more Professor SCHEKMAN and Professor Roberts, Nobel laureates, for their position, for great job they did for organization of the letter of support. By the way, Professor Roberts mentioned Professor Hoffman. Professor Hoffman is a foreign member of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, and he studied the quantum chemistry, quantum mechanics. His teacher was very well known Professor Alexander Davidov. That time he worked in the Moscow University, but after then Professor Davidov moved to Kiev and headed the Bogolyubov Institute of Theoretical Physics. So we have good contacts with our American colleagues. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once more. And I believe that we will win. Thank you.
So thank you. And I have a suggestion, dear Professor Zagorodny. When the war will end, to invite both Professor Richard Roberts and Randy SCHEKMAN to Chisinau and Kiev. It's in the Black Sea region. We have very good, excellent nature, and you will enjoy our countries. But in the meantime, we should of course fight to restore peace in our place. Ladies and gentlemen, so
excuse me, President Tigirianu, excuse me for interrupting you, but I would not like to wait for the end of war. I would like to invite Professor SCHEKMAN and Professor Roberts immediately, and of course they can choose time for the visits.
Okay.
As they like. So
I agree. The invitations will go now.
Invitations to visit Ukraine, National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. We would be very glad to see you in Kiev. You're welcome.
These invitations you will get during the war. And of course, we will hope that the war will end as soon as possible and the visits will be realized. Dear professors, thank you so much for your speeches, for your good words in support this morning in the United States and afternoon in Moldova and Ukraine. We will continue our lecture. The lecture is in Romanian, so if you like, you can be online. But I say you, thanks a lot for your support. Have a nice day. And so we will keep in touch and you will get soon invitations to pay a visit to our region.